Now join our regularly scheduled program, already in progress.
It's one of the element group requirements that the gymnast has to have. A little short on that. It looked like he got a little tired towards the end, but overall a pretty solid routine.
Rafael Martinez paired with Jana Korniskova, and each will receive individual scores, and then the combined total accounts for the team. And there you see Korniskova 14.4. And on the pommel horse, 14.4 as well, so a pretty well-matched team. 28.8 is their total. And now our first look at the young lady we talked about, 31-year-old Oksana Chusnitsvya.
And she has really gotten better with age, just so much stronger, better technique. Huge vault. She is obviously known as a vaulter, gets great height, great distance. Good form in the air, a little piked off the horse. It's supposed to be a laid out front full, but I don't think the judges will take too much of a deduction. It's a very difficult vault.
Wow, she looks terrific, 31 years old and a mother as well. We'll come back to that story. Here's her partner, Jordan Jovchev of Bulgaria, and he's just a master at this event.
He is. He's incredibly strong. He actually won, he got fourth place in the Olympics, and last year he got second, or in 2004 at the last Olympics he got second. Many believed he should have gotten gold on this event. But you can just see the strength, and we'll compare this exercise to some of the other ring routines that we'll see today. Completely flat, completely level to the floor.
It just doesn't look physically possible at times.
No, it's just incredible the amount of strength that they use.
Jordan Jovchev, classic Iron Cross, competed in 3 Olympic Games. And still going strong at 33.
Only the dismount to go. Very nice routine. Double layout, full out.
Second on the rings at the 2004 Olympics, third on the rings in the 2000 Olympics, fourth in 1996, so he's only improving. And their scores, 15.050 on the vault and a ring score of 16.40. And here's Steliana Nistor from Romania.
Yurchenko, 1.5 twist. Pretty nice landing, a little bent legs in the air. That's obviously going to be a deduction. See her block off the horse, leg separation, little bent legs to get her over the top.
Always so strong. And her partner, Marian Dragilescu, also from Romania. And he'll be performing on the parallel bars. Our first look at that in this competition.
This is not his strongest event, and there's maybe a little strategy involved. The gymnasts are going to have to compete 3 events before they get to the 4th round, where they can kind of choose their best event. So you have to decide, do you want to start out with one of your weaker events in hopes that you'll continue and get better as time goes on, or do you start off strong with your best event just to make sure you get to the next round?
And he is the reigning world champion on both floor and vault.
See a few balance checks here. Nice to pelt.
Silver medalist in 2004 at the Olympics, a floor exercise.
Press to handstand. Double pike dismount. And he gets by with a nice solid routine. A few little checks in there that'll be smaller deductions, but overall a pretty solid routine.
Interesting team here. The veteran Dragilescu teamed with young Steliana Nistor, and the scores for Miss Nistor on the right, 14.3 on the vault, and on the bars 14.8 for Dragilescu, and a combined 29.1 then. This is Marie-Sophie Hinderman from Germany.
She is a beautiful gymnast. She really has the body and the style of a rhythmic gymnast. We'll be able to see that through her floor routine.
Long lines, right?
Very long lines. Now, she's not going to have the most difficulty in her floor routine, but what she does, she'll do very well. And it's that strategy of minimizing the deductions.
Has the spotlight to herself. A great crowd of about 6,000 very knowledgeable Swiss fans of the sport, and the Swiss team starting to improve, as a matter of fact.
Sophie. She was the Junior European bronze medalist at this year's championship. So this is a very new competition for her. She's in here with the big boys now. Some of these athletes bringing back the artistry of gymnastics versus some of the athletes have gone more towards, because of the code, gone more towards just skill, skill, skill. And she's really putting some dance and jumps and leaps back into her routine.
A little short on the landing?
A little bit short. She's trying to cover for it.
Already Sophie Hinderman of nearby Germany. A lot of the fans here as well in Zurich.
So we take a look at one of her tunnelling passes, 2.5, where she ended a little bit short, as you said, her hips just behind her heels.
And her partner from Germany, Thomas Andergassen, 2004 member of the German Olympic team.
And Andergassen competed in the 2004 Olympic Games and is shooting for next year's World Championships, which are going to be held in his home country. They're going to be held in Stuttgart. Always exciting to have a competition of that caliber held in your own country. Nice press to Maltese. Quite low enough on that inverted cross. You really need to see a straight line from wrist to wrist. And we're seeing a lot more of these swinging moves, these double fronts in this new code than we did in the 2004 code, where it was a lot of strength to strength moves.
That's Thomas Andergassen of Germany teaming with Marie-Sophie Hinderman, who just performed on the floor.
Nice strong event for both of these athletes. Hoping, of course, to move to the third round.
And the scores on the floor, 14.2 for Miss Hinderman on the left and 15.5 on the rings for Andergassen, 29.750. We're underway, the International Swiss Cup 2006, and we'll be right back with more from round one. 10 teams of competitors pairing a male and a female competitor. Now listen to the applause here for the hometown lady, Ariella Kesslin, here in Switzerland, member of the Swiss team.
Ariella starting on vault. Each gymnast will only compete one vault in these qualification rounds. And I'm not sure what happened there. It looked like she may have what we call balked or pulled out of it. She looked like she got on really good, a strong block, and ended up just doing a tough somersault. Normally you would see a twist, a full, full and a half, double full. And it looked like she had plenty of height, so it's difficult to tell what went wrong. Maybe she was just a little bit off, but that's going to be a tough start.
Her partner, also obviously from Switzerland, Nikki Buschenstein. Again on the rings. Follow up on your point previously, Shannon, that this was strength to strength moves. Would they put more motion and creativity into the routines? They've
inputted more swinging moves, and of course I'll point those out as we go, but the double fronts that you see the men do. But these strength to strength moves that you're seeing right now, it used to be you did strength to strength to strength to get enough bonus points to up your score. But now these swinging moves are coming back, and you can earn points by doing those. I like it. I think it makes the ring routine a little more interesting.
I was going to say, I think it's good to the eye.
Interesting dismount, double pike half out. Nicely done, stuck landing.
Good example of the team competition here. Ariella Kaslin came out of her vault, so some pressure on Boschenstein here then to perform well and rack up some points.
And it's a great way to see which competitors can watch another teammate maybe not do so well and really pull back for the team. So that was really nicely done.
And sure enough, Kaslin only awarded 13.3, but her partner, Boschenstein, there racks up some points, 14.750, 28.05. Whether that's good enough to make the cut down to 8 remains to be seen. And now a pair from Canada.
And Nancy Damianova, she is competing on vault as well. Yurchenko 1.5, and that's that line landing that we always talk about, very difficult. She did not get enough block off the horse right there in order to get the entire rotation around. And that's unfortunate. She was actually 4th place on vault at the Junior Pan Am Games, so she is a good vaulter. Just needed a little more power.
So another example here, there are 10 teams competing in this opening round, trying to get down to 8 for the second round. So Brandon O'Neill performing on the floor, first male competitor we've seen on the floor exercise.
And floor is an excellent event for Canada. We have, of course, Kyle Schufeld, who medaled on floor in the Olympic Games. Very nice, strong opening pass. Brandon O'Neill, probably the second best tumbler on the Canadian team. Very nice bounding pass.
How does the men on the floor, how does that differ from the ladies?
Well, certainly they don't do as much dance. They don't have any music. It's still a 1.5-minute routine. They do a lot of tumbling, and oops, he just went out of bounds right there with one hand. That's going to be obviously a deduction.
Do they still perform the music?
They do not perform the music. It's completely quiet when they go. They do 3 to 4 tumbling passes. They usually have a side pass, and they'll have a strength move. Here's a nice side pass, and just on the line, it's difficult to tell whether he went out of bounds with a toe or not. And those are points you really don't want to be giving up.
Oh.
Really short on that full-in dismount. That was a tough landing.
Yeah, I think he hurt himself.
Yeah, it looks like he's limping a bit. A lot of times you land short, you just jam that ankle. And he actually landed a little bit on the edge of the floor. You can see where he lands right on that white line.
Yeah. Brandon O'Neill from Canada.
And hopefully he's going to be okay. He's definitely rubbing that ankle.
A little ice on it. 13.4 for Damianova and 14.4 for Brandon O'Neill. That'll be tough going to get into the next round. Svetlana Klukina of Russia now on the floor.
And she just watched Canada open the door. Beautifully stuck, tucked full in. It really makes a statement when you don't take that extra step. Even though you're allowed that step, it's nice to stick. And that's really unfortunate. Coming back with that second pass, that was not a difficult pass. It's one of those timing skills that she was just a little bit off on that timing.
Good comparison, having just seen Brandon O'Neill on the floor. Now to watch the women's version, as you say, very different, much more artistic in manner.
Women also performing 3 to 4 tumbling passes. Nice high double twist. She's going to lose a little bit in the difficulty because these are not the most difficult tumbling passes. Double pike to end.
Svetlana Klukina from Russia.
And here is her front handspring front full, and you could see her legs almost just kind of buckle underneath her, and she couldn't get that punch off to the front.
So her score is just 13.5, and again the pressure then goes to her male partner Anton Lobachov, performing on pommel horse.
And I don't know, the way I hear the guys talk about pommel horse, I don't know if I would choose that in a pairs competition unless I was really sure I was going to hit. This is a very tough event to stay on. And we're watching for any leg separations.
I just watch the hands, how quickly they have to maneuver.
It is amazing, and if you think of trying to hold yourself up for that amount of time, it's just incredible.
Then do a full hand press.
Nicely done. Strong routine, not the greatest positioning, but a very strong, solid start.
Anton Lobachov of Russia, teamed with Klukina. And here's a look at those hands that I was talking about.
Every hand placement has to be perfect.
13.5 for Miss Klukina, and then for on the pommel horse 14.7, so 20.20 is the score for Team Russia, and that's very close to the cut line. And we're still in round one, but we'll continue with more when we come right back. The International Swiss Cup from Zurich. Well, they start them young, but not that young. In gymnastics, Carlotta Giannovini from Italy. And we saw them earlier in the European Championships. Team Italy on the rise.
Carlotta is an extremely powerful vaulter. She competes a Yurchenko double full. Very nice. You can see how much power she ran backwards out of it.
She almost flew right off the mat.
But incredible distance, good height. We're watching her body position in the air. Very nice. You see a lot more of the foot twisting when you see it in slow motion than the judges actually do. So she's only going to have that deduction for a little bit of those legs in the air and the steps out of it.
Carlotta Giovannini scores 14.55 for that vault, and it's left to her partner then, Ricardo Costa, on parallel bars.
Start, good swinging, Healy, up to handstand. Diamidov. Very difficult press to handstand.
Again, a very knowledgeable and appreciative crowd.
Double pike dismounted, short routine, but very nicely done, very clean.
That's Ricardo Costa.
Here's his first press to handstand. He comes back and does that move with his legs together the second time. Very difficult, lots of strength.
Costa teamed with Carlotta Giovannini, and his score then 14.7 and a combined score of 29.250. That should get them into round two. We'll have to total it up. First, Jenny Kohler performing for the out of France.
Jenny was an alternate for the 2006 French World Championship team. Nice over the low bar mount. Stalders to handstand. Gearing up for her first release move. Nice pike Jaeger. Little form break here and there, leg separations. And you don't see this soul circle too often. She'll get a slight deduction for doing that. Nice high double pike dismount, saving that landing. This was a good routine for Ginny. A few form breaks, as we mentioned, but a nice high-piked Jaeger.
Ihr Partner Jan Küchra beginnt an seinem Lieblingsgerät, dem Barren, wo vor einem Jahr
And here she comes back with her double pike dismount. Nice legs together, just over-rotates it a bit.
If you think that you're hearing the arena announcer in German, you are. Here in the northern part of Switzerland, they speak mostly German. In the southern part of the country, more towards French, not just dialect, but the French language. This is her partner now, Jan Kuchera.
And Kuchera was the 2005 bronze medalist on this event and the 2005 silver medalist at the European Championships on parallel bars. Very strong event. Oh, and he was trying for an interesting little move there, and it didn't quite work out, but wow, he was able to save that. That really shows experience. He will get a deduction, but certainly won't take the fall. A couple of Healy turns. Nice form, nice straight, solid handstands.
Jan Kuchera, maybe the best all-around in France?
Possibly. He's definitely a strong contender, certainly on this event. And this was an unfortunate mistake for him. There's a nice clear hip, and you could see his hands, and he just couldn't get quite up. But he bails out and keeps going with his routine.
Yeah, that's kind of amazing that he saved it.
It is. It's amazing, and it takes a lot of extra strength, which may be why he was a little short in his dismount.
And 14.3 combined with Jenny's 13.1, just 27.4 for the French team.
Ist Ukraine beim Sprung mit Marina Proskurina.
Well, you heard the introduction. Marina Proskurina. It was better than mine. Marina Proskurina.
2000 European Championship. She was a member of the 5th place team. Yurchenko full and a half. Nice stuck dismount. She was squatting heavily when she landed, but that was really just to save the landing, save that stuck landing. It'll be a slight deduction, but it won't be as much as if she were to take steps.
So many of the women choosing the vault here in their first apparatus.
There's definitely some strategy going on. There's certain events that definitely score higher than other events, and we'll see that as the competition moves on.
Her partner from the Ukraine, Valery Koncharov, member of the 2004 Olympic team from the Ukraine, that placed 7th in the competition. And he, too, choosing the pommel horse.
I'm actually very surprised to see so many of the men choosing pommel horse, but certainly this is a good event for him. He's got very nice lines. You're looking for that straight line from shoulder to toe. And he's got that longer, leaner body, which is perfect for pommel horse.
Proskurin on the vault, 14.35, so that gives him a little wiggle room here.
He's doing a good job of keeping that form. Nice pommel horse set. Again, we watch the hands as he moves around the pommel. We want to see those hips as far away from that pommel as they can get.
As I mentioned, Proskurin 14.35 on the vault, and then his score 14.5. That's a solid 28.850 combined score, and a good start for this team from the Ukraine. It's interesting to see the gymnasts in the kiss and cry, as they call it in figure skating, waiting for their scores like that and on camera.
Yeah, it's very different. A lot of times we don't even look at our scores. We just go on to the next event. You're very focused on what you're doing, and here you kind of have to sit and wait, and it's a little more pressure.
I like this, though. First time I've seen this team competition, from a spectator point of view, it's a little easier for me to follow the progression of the competition.
It is, and it's a lot of fun to watch, too, because you get to see the male athletes as well as the females, so you get to learn about both, and I think just having a team event, it's more exciting.
Focus on on the individuals a little bit more. Here are the standings then after round one here from Zurich. The team from Germany, both teams from Germany, will move forward along with the Italian team, the Romanians, the Ukrainians, the Czechs, the Russians, and so forth. Only Canada and France will fail to advance to the next round. And in the next round, we cut the field down even more to the final round, so the pressure builds now.
Yes, so we only cut 2 teams this round. Next round, we cut it in half, so we go from 8 to 4 in the next round.
Shannon Miller, and now with her Where the Dream Began segment with one of the U.S.'s finest young female gymnasts. Let's take a look now at her talk with Kayla Hoffman.
Where the Dream Began. Presented by GK Elite, the choice of champions.
Kayla Hoffman was born on August 13th, 1988 in Summit, New Jersey, to Richard and Helen Hoffman. She is now an international senior elite training at Rebound Gymnastics. Kayla, you're 18 now. How did you get introduced to the sport of gymnastics, and what age did you start?
I was introduced at the age of probably about 4. My mom did gymnastics in high school, and she didn't have the support of the family that I do, and she didn't really get to where she wanted to go, but she really wanted me to get into it, and I was a little bit of a shy child, and I was uncomfortable with social activities, and so she put me in swimming and gymnastics, and I ended up doing gymnastics. I liked it a lot more. So,
well, certainly gymnastics has opened doors for you. What do you feel are kind of the biggest doors that it's opened?
Well, I think it's really nice that gymnastics opened the door for me to get a full scholarship. It's a way for me to give back to my family who supported me the whole way, and I'm going to have an education now, and that's going to carry me through to the next stage of my life. So it's really great.
Now that she has achieved her goal of making the national team, Kayla's looking forward to representing the United States in upcoming international competitions. She plans to attend the University of Alabama in the fall of 2007 and would eventually like to become a magazine editor. Now, you also have a younger sister who's about 5 years younger than you. She's 13, Emma, and I was just wondering, because I was the younger sister, with an older sister trying to follow in her footsteps. Yeah. Does she really try to follow in your footsteps?
I think she definitely does, and a lot of times she won't admit it, but she does try to. And ever since she was little, she's always followed in my footsteps. And I think she was even interviewed one time for like a local news station, and everybody was saying, what do you want to be when you grow up? And all the girls were like, I want to go to the Olympics. I want to be just like so and so. And then Emma comes on as the last person. I want to be just like my sister. And I was like holding back tears because it was just so cute,
Aside from younger sisters, if you were to give advice to the millions of young girls that do gymnastics across the country, what kind of advice would you give them?
Well, I know it's cliche, but you just really have to believe in yourself, and it really is true. Like, whatever you want to do, you can do it, and you just have to believe that you can, and it's all really in your mind, and you can do anything you want.
Where the Dream Began. Presented by GK Elite, the choice of champions.
Today is the best.
Gymnastics USA with Shannon Miller taking you to the International Swiss Cup in Zurich, Switzerland. We're onto our second rotation, our second apparatus here in round one. And the Swiss team, the favorites, Ariella Kastlin, she and her partner, Nikki Boschenstein, need to score well here in their next events. Whoa.
That was a great save for Ariella. That is a tough mount.
First look at the beam in the competition, Shannon's favorite event.
Very nice standing Arabian. You see a lot of these tough skills. And with this new code, a lot of these balance beam routines will just be skill after skill in order to get enough bonus points in a minute and a half.
You're piling up the points now as opposed to subtracting from the perfect 10 in the old days. And sometimes Shannon bemoans the loss of some of the beauty and artistry of the beam at the expense of the skills.
It is. It's tough to see less dance, but certainly the skills are very exciting to watch. 2 feet. She has a lot of difficulty in this routine. Even these leaps and jumps add up to difficulty points.
Making a strong comeback after pulling out of her vault earlier. And the crowd loves it.
And she really came back from that bobble on the mount and hit a solid set. Right here, it just takes a little bit to be off on just a slight angle, but she was able to save that. Shows great composure. Continues on with this very difficult routine with some nice moves like that you don't see in every routine, which is nice to see some interest. Here closing with a nice high double pike.
So many similarities to the high divers in their dismount. That's Ariella Kastlin, and she did score very well on the beam, 15.3. So that takes some of the pressure off Nikki Bolshenstein, her partner, as he attempts the vault.
Big vault. Double tucked front, nails the landing. I don't think it gets much better than that. Huge vault.
And he is pumped.
Great height off the horse, good position in the air, and just nails that landing.
Oh boy, listen to the crowd. And he is jacked, and he ought to be.
That was impressive. That makes a statement to the judges.
And they agreed. A 16.4, the high score of the competition so far, and their combined puts them right in the race at 15.750 in first place in the current standings. And again from nearby Germany, Marie-Sophie Hindermann.
And she has a tough act to follow. Mounting from inside the bars. Nice Shaposhnikova, or actually it's called a Kristen Maloney. It's called a Maloney after American gymnast.
She scored under 14 on the floor in her first exercise.
One of the taller athletes, which shows great lines on uneven bars. We always talk about lines and angles on bars. The judges want to see those handstands all the way on top.
This looks pretty good.
You can see her coach step in for the dismount. Nice double hand, stuck landing. Here she does a beautiful straddle Jaeger. She has a gorgeous toe point.
Not wearing the hand grips.
A lot of the European gymnasts, you're not going to see them wearing the hand grips.
Oh, just lovely on the dismount. Slow-mo showed it beautifully. And the judges loved it. A 15.4 for Marie-Sophie Hindermann and her German partner, Thomas Andergassen.
Get a strong start on still rings.
This might seem like a silly question. Why do the men wear tights when they perform?
You know, some events they're going to wear tights, which I think is aesthetics, yes. A couple of the events they'll wear shorts.
Yeah.
Floor exercise usually.
Oh, came out of the landing just a bit.
Very strong set. Nice double back within the P-bars. Had good swing. Finishing up here with kind of the standard dismount that most of the men do, a double pike. And as you said, he just opened up a little bit early, landed a bit short.
So the German team with a strong round, 15.4 for Miss Hindermann and 15.2 for Andergassen. A combined score of 60.35 puts them ahead of the Swiss for now. And now the always tough Romanians. And another look at young Steliana Nistor.
Beautiful back handspring, tuck full twist. Solid as a rock.
Is this a Romanian to watch in Beijing?
I really think so. She is new on the scene, but has done a great job this year. And she was a strong gymnast, and she's got a lot of confidence for being kind of inexperienced in the international realm.
So this is a good event for someone at that point in their career?
She has a lot of difficulty in this routine. But I like her aggressiveness. She's not tentative. She moves through this routine like she owns it. Now it just is kind of whether or not she can stay composed throughout the routine and really focus on each move as it comes.
She was won first place as a junior in the European Championships in 2004, all around.
And right there, we see where a gymnast does all of these difficult skills, back handspring, tuck full turn, and misses a switch lead. And it just takes that one moment of lack of concentration to put you off the beam. This was really a gorgeous routine throughout. Lots of difficulty. I love the way she moves throughout it. Very aggressive, as I've said. Unfortunately, that one problem on the switch leap where her foot just slipped off the side of the beam.
Despite the slip, a solid score, maybe. Surprisingly, Steliana Nistor scored 14.750 there and leaves it to Dragulescu, her teammate.
And this is his event. He is world champion on vault.
Whoa.
Double front, half out.
He just crossed the border.
This vault is named after him. He's the first athlete and only athlete to ever perform a double front with a half turn off the horse. And he over-rotates it. It's amazing. He will obviously get the deduction for that step, but it was a huge vault, great distance, great height.
Another look. Jet-powered.
And he has been world champion on this multiple times. This is the reason. That vault you saw right there.
Yeah, and a little deduction, but not much. 16.5 for the Romanian team, which moves into second place with a point total of 60 and change. Oksana Chushevitna now. Oksana, the 31-year-old.
And she has an incredible story. She competed in 1992 for the unified team at the Olympic Games. And in 1996, after the Soviet Union collapsed, she competed for her home country of Uzbekistan. Now she's competing as a German citizen as of the 2006 World Championships.
What took her to Germany?
She has a son. She's actually a mother, which is incredible in itself. And her son, Alisher, was actually diagnosed with leukemia. And her and her husband took him to Germany to get him the doctors and the specialists that he needed. And she trained there in Germany, and they allowed her to become a citizen and compete for the German team.
Wow. And we mentioned it at the top of the show, but if you're just joining us, Shannon competed along with Oksana throughout your competitive career.
I did many, many times. 1991 World Championships, 92 Olympic Games, 96 Olympic Games. She was a great competitor and a lot of fun. She has a great personality, and she's just so focused and very smart about her gymnastics. The older she got, the smarter she got about training.
So it is possible. You don't have to just be in your teen years. I wonder if that trend will continue.
I hope so, and I know that she hopes so as well. Many times she has said that she hopes her continuing with gymnastics helps other young gymnasts understand that 16 is not over the hill and 19 is not over the hill.
Well, there's a great example for you right there. And you can see the great joy and passion she still has for her sport.
This is a great routine. She's a very powerful gymnast and 31 years old, still doing a double layout. So far, she has had an incredible competition. I mean, she has more difficulty in her routines than most of the competitors coming up that weren't even born yet when she started competing in the Olympics.
Amazing. Oksana Chushvenica will tell you more about her, but her score on the floor was 14.55, leaving it to her teammate, Jordan Jovchev. And here he is on the vault.
And Jordan does not do, he was very strong all-arounder, but doesn't do the all-around too much. But certainly doesn't have a problem with that vault. Looks like Jordan still has it. Great vault, good form in the air. What you'll see with these older gymnasts are that they do what we call smart gymnastics. They don't train a zillion numbers. They keep their body in shape physically, you know, strength-wise and flexibility-wise, and they only do the actual gymnastic skills that they have to do.
Well, the senior team scored very well. Oksana with a 14.5 and Jovchev with 15.65 on the vault. That's good for first place and a handshake. You betcha. When we come back, we will continue with more of the International Swiss Cup from Zurich. More of this great international field. Stay with us. Welcome back. Gymnastics USA taking you to Zurich, Switzerland for the International Cup team competition as we start to pare down the field here. Next up, the French team. Jenny Kohler and Jan Coucheret.
A switch leap to what we call a sheep jump. Back tuck, and it was likely that she was supposed to combine all three, which means there will be a deduction for pausing in between those moves.
90 seconds to complete the routine?
Yes.
Oh.
That was supposed to be an onodi. She was supposed to keep going forwards and do a front walkover out. We are seeing a lot of trouble on balance beam today. We're seeing a lot more of these full turns with a leg up or one of the legs in a different position. That's going to be worth more. It can be a little more intimidating to do balance beam when all eyes are on you, when you don't have the other events going at the same time.
This French team on the bubble for the cut here after round one.
Double full dismount. Nice front walkover mount. She just had a little trouble on that onodi and a little wobble on this full turn right here.
Wow, great camera work.
Yeah, you can see how she kind of rolled to the outside of her ankle, and that's where she had the problem.
And the judges scoring that just 13.3. So her teammate from France, Jan Coucheret, on high bar really needs to post a number. Remember, after this first round, we cut down from 10 two-person teams to 8.
Our first look at what I think is one of the most exciting of the men's events, high bar.
You like this?
It's great. It's high flying skills like this one. Full twist over the bar. Coucheret was first at high bar at the American Cup, as well as second at the World Championships in 2005. It's a good event for him. Nice hop full. In-bar work right there. Part of one of the element group requirements. Big dismount, full twisting, double layout. And this should be a good score. Hopefully it'll be enough to keep them in the game. Full twist over the high bar. Reaches for that bar.
Einem Jahr bei den Weltmeisterschaften in Melbourne, Silbermedaillengewinner.
Here, gearing up for a big dismount. Nice body position in the air.
Kohler had scored 13.3 on the beam. Now the score for Kuchera. It is a good one. It's 15.6. And their combined score after 2 events, 56.30. And another team in that category trying to beat the cut and stay in the top 8. The Italian team of Carlotta Giovannini and Riccardo Costa.
Second all around at the Italian National Championships, and keeps going right there. I think, unfortunately, that's going to be a pretty big deduction. Comes back with a nice skinger. Interesting dismount, swing half, pike front out.
See if we can go back and see what went wrong here.
Absolut profimäßig gerettet und dann die Übung gut beendet.
Nice toe hecht.
Es folgt beim Sprung Riccardo Costa.
Right into a pack salto. Looks very nice there.
In der Saalsporthalle.
And they may not show her miss again, but it was an unfortunate miss because she could have done something a little bit more out of that, but she did cover it. She didn't completely come off the bar, so hopefully that will save her some.
Costa needs a big score here on the vault.
Suk layout full, and that's unfortunate. That is not a very difficult vault, so even though he performed it very well, it's not going to be a huge score, not what they need.
Combination of difficulty and performance, totaling up the new scoring system.
And this is tough because, as we talked about in this round, we're now cutting it down to 4 from 8.
Giovannini with her bar score of just 13.3 and Costa 14.8, so they total 57.4. It will be tough. And now the Russian pair, Svetlana Klukina first, and she will also perform on the beam.
Svetlana coming back after that unfortunate miss on floor exercise. Beautiful front aerial handspring layout step out, and to me that looked savable. She didn't look like she was that far off. If I was coaching her, I would have said keep your weight on your front leg. You know, once you get your weight on your back leg, you're done.
Of course, since the Soviet Union dissolved, the Russians as a nation individually still strong?
Very strong. Of course, we had years and years with Svetlana Horkina, who led the world with unique skills and kind of breaking down some barriers of the stereotypical gymnast body type, which has been wonderful for gymnastics. But Russia is still typically very strong as a team, one to watch for certainly in Beijing. As we've always talked about, there's certain competitions where you test out the new skills, you go in and you try it, and you know you're going to make some mistakes, but you have to learn sometime, and you don't want to learn at the Olympic Games or World Championships. Good finish to a tough routine. Here she has a nice solid front somersault.
Klukina kommt ganz aus dem Norden von Russland, oben am Weißen Meer.
Had this unfortunate fall right here. Keep the weight on the front leg and just too far off to the left. But she comes back with a nice solid dismount. We'll have to wait and see if they're able to stay in the game.
Svetlana Klukina with a score of 14.25 on the beam. This is her teammate, Anton Lobacho. On the vault, he needs a big number.
Big vault, 2.5 twist. Very well done. Do a round off onto the board, which means it's a Yurchenko. 2.5 twists in the air. Good form throughout. Just a tiny, tiny step. You don't do that vault much better than what he just performed. Now, whether that score is going to be enough, I don't know, but that'll be a big score.
As they await the official scores, and a champion's eye for a champion. Miss Miller told you that would be a big score, and it was. And the total of 58.75 is good enough for 5th place. And when we come back, we'll show you who made the cut to move into the next round as they compete for $80,000 here as well at the International Swiss Cup 2006. Welcome back to the Swiss Cup. Here are the top 8 teams will move on. Only the Ukrainians, who are edged out in the scoring, and the Canadians. O'Neill did turn his ankle on the floor exercise, Shannon, and they were forced to withdraw. So those top 8 teams will move on into our next round of competition. And here is 31-year-old Oksana Chusovitna, who has performed so well here and is one of the great stories in international gymnastics. Now competing for Germany.
Typically known as a vaulter, she is actually a very good all-arounder. Nice straddled Jaeger. She has such great form throughout. Good swing. Big reverse hex. And just a little too big on that Tkachev.
Chusovitna, women at this age, does their strength also grow? Men typically don't reach their strength peak until their 30s.
I don't think in the same way as it is for men. I think your training becomes different. When you're younger, you do more quantity and get a ton of repetitions in. As you get older, you do less repetition because you know what you're doing and you've done the skills for so much longer. What's great about Jordan and Oksana are they are very good technical gymnasts, especially with basics. They've done basics throughout their entire careers, and that gives them the ability to stay longer in this sport.
They're so sound. Oksana wrapping it up, just that one bobble there, and she knows it. Otherwise, it might have been an outstanding routine.
It truly is. It's an incredible routine. She does so much difficulty. It really boggles the mind at 31 years old.
And a mother as well.
Absolutely. And, you know, her husband, she says, is her biggest fan. And I think that's fantastic. She has such a great support system.
Very nice. And a solid score considering the fall of 13.95. And now her teammate, Jordan Jovchev. And he'll perform on the floor.
Jordan is a very strong floor athlete. Great bounding pass to open. Strong and clean.
Time limits the same on the floor for both the men and the women?
Yes, they both have 1.5 minutes to finish. Very nice flares.
Some of the pommel horse type of
great
strength moves.
series.
Yeah.
And it's very visual for the audience.
Very
they really
impressive.
understand the strength and flexibility involved. Jordan has 2 bronze medals from the Olympics on this event, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see him in 2008. He doesn't seem like he's stopping anytime soon. Normally finishing with a nice high double layout. Let's see what he does. And he goes with the double full.
Very interesting combination of skills in that routine.
He has a great a combination of different moves, the strength, the flexibility, the tumbling. We see a little bit of strategy from a veteran athlete going with a more simple dismount than what he's used to. He normally closes with a double layout, but sometimes in this case, he just saw his partner fall and he knows he can't risk any deduction, so you go with an easier, safe pass.
Part of the strategy in this team competition. So Jordan 14.6 to go along with Oksana's 13.95, and a combined 90 so far in the competition gives them first place to this point.
So I guess there's something to be said for being the veterans.
Yeah, indeed. Money on the line. Now here's the German team, and two of them have advanced to this round of 8. Marie-Sophie Hinderman.
Yurchenko 1.5 twist. Big step forward, which will be a deduction, but beautiful form in the air. See what it looks like from this angle. Legs are just glued together. A slight knee bend as she kind of looks towards the landing. She didn't quite need it. She had plenty of rotation.
Jurchenko mit 1,5 Schrauben, auch wieder diese schwierige Landung mit Blick weg vom Sprung.
And Miss Hinderman scores a 14.25 and turning it over to her teammate from Germany, Thomas Andergassen, here on the pommel horse.
Great moving throughout this routine. You can see some of the stronger athletes on this event. Their hips are higher off the horse, legs are higher on the flares, and they move through so strong. Fortunately, a little leg break right there, but certainly not devastating.
I tend to think of the upper body strength in this, but the core strength to hold your legs and elevate that long is just amazing.
And that was a very nice routine. Couple of form breaks with his legs, little checks here and there, but certainly not devastating to the score, and overall a very good routine. Germany looking to stay in the hunt, stay in that top 4, move on to the final round.
There they are, Andergassen and Hinderman on the left, 14.25, 14.85, and a combined 89.4 now. And in second place. And now the Romanians who were in first place after our first round. Young Steliana Nistor.
Place at Europeans this year. Free hip full pirouette right to a kinger. Strong pirouette, half pirouette to a full and a half, right to release. She has great combinations in this bar routine. Strong, nice high full in. That was a gorgeous bar routine. She moved very fluid throughout the routine, but a lot of difficulty, great release moves, good pirouetting. And she really works hard to keep those legs together throughout this routine. Beautiful Tkachev straight to pack salto.
Nistor and Dragulescu leading after round 1, looking very strong here as they get underway in round 2. And here is Marianne Dragulescu after a sensational first round performance and vault, as you might expect, now on the floor. Nistor, by the way, scored a 15.25 on the bars.
Marian Dragulescu, 3-time world champion on floor, and that's part of the reason why. Strong, difficult tumbling with good landings. Coming back, 2.5. Punch front. Great series right there.
How is that possible?
Japanese handstand.
That's that core strength I was talking about.
Difficulty in every move that he does. Taking out no difficulty in the ending. Double twisting, double back, stuck to finish.
Marian Dragulescu of Romania.
This was a great floor exercise. There was virtually no way to take a deduction. Stuck landings, difficult skills.
Mit 2. Zeit Marian Dragulescu for
2.5. Punch front full. Punch 1.5 twist. Great bounding pass right there.
Oh, great scores by both Nistor and Dragulescu for a total of 91.1, and the Romanians stay in first place in this team competition. And now the hometown favorites, the Swiss team of Kaslin and Boschenstein. Ariella Kaslin first on the bars.
Very nice gamer. Hitting those handstands and that overshoot. Yep, all the way on these casting handstands, which is so important for these judges. Beautiful Corkina. Tuckful in dismount. Using the crowd to help her stick. Great routine.
The Swiss out in force in Zurich for Ariella Kaslin.
And she is really doing a great job in front of a hometown crowd. It's got to give you a little extra adrenaline going into each event. Nice handstands, perfect form.
Yeah, they're really jazzed as they watch the replays as well. And the score solid, 14.65 for Ariella Kaslin.
Nicely done.
And leaves it now to her teammate, Nikki Boschenstein of the Swiss team.
Jetzt geht's die Finalqualifikation.
We should point out here, Shannon, that these 8 two-person teams now will be pared down to just 4 for the final round.
That's a significant cut, and you really can't risk any more misses. Great double back through the parallel bars. Nice to pelt, and they are allowed to bend their legs through the bottom to clear the floor. Double pike dismount, and he knows it's a great routine. Here we go, Healy to front somersault. The crowd loved it. This was a short routine, but very nicely done. Not a lot of room for deduction. Take a look at the double pike. Just a small hop in the landing. Overall, a great routine.
So Koslin already posted 14.6, and here are the scores then for her teammate. It's a 15.5. It's a fist pump and a high five for the two Swiss competitors. We'll see if it's good enough. We're halfway through the second round as they pair the teams from 8 to 4, and we come right back.
Stockings were hung rounded with care.
Now we're about halfway through the second round as we pair the two-person teams now from 8 to 4 for the final round. And so this is the Russian team, and they are kind of on the bubble at this point. This is Svetlana Klukina, and she will be performing on the bars.
Unfortunately, Svetlana has had a tough competition so far. Let's hope she can hit a good bar set. Little mistake right there, but she's covering for it. Does an additional kip half turn. Line change to a straddle Jaeger. Nice to Kachev, right to a back salto. Needed to hit that dismount. It was difficult to see it from the camera what happened. It looked like a perfect dismount. There we see a nice toe half turn to a straddle Jaeger. Nice stall to work and stalled her up to the high bar.
I love her face. It's so placid at times.
She always seems very calm throughout the routine.
Svetlana Klukina scored just 13.6 on the bar, so this puts so much pressure now on Anton Lobachev, her teammate, on parallel bars.
Press to handstand to pelt. Little leg separation at the top of that handstand.
Reminder that only the top 4 teams out of the 8 remaining now will go into the final round.
And some nice Healy work and tries a very difficult dismount. Most of the dismounts we see are a double pike. He tries to twist it in a tuck position and didn't quite make the twist all the way around.
Perhaps aware of the scores and trying to pile up some points. Lobachev and Klukina, and you already knew Klukina's points. Lobachev 14.5, that's good for 86.85. That is very iffy to make the top 4 into the final round. The Italian team in the same predicament. Carlotta Giovannini on balance beam.
The beam has not been nice during this competition. The athletes have had a very difficult time.
Like a greased beam at times.
Jeez, and you said it. Man, and that was a tough fall, too. That was a painful-looking fall.
Yeah.
And sometimes you never know what kind of balance beam you're going to get, and you have to compete on whatever you get. So sometimes in the European competitions, the top of the beam, if it gets too chalky, it can be a little slicker than some of the other types of beams.
You see a lot of chalk on the top and edges of the beam.
That's what I've been looking at. There's lots of chalk up there. I know in our gym, I had kind of the one beam that I always used, and it was kind of one of the beams you were forbidden to use chalk on because it tends to make the beam slippery.
See her really struggling now.
Always tough to come back from a fall, and you can see she is now just trying to get in under that minute 30.
Carlotta Giovannini of Italy Yeah, and you can see from her expression, she knows it's going to be tough, and she may have suffered a little bit of an injury there.
That was certainly a tough fall. I mean, she fell right on the beam. But she's a trooper, finishing with a nice high double pike.
You can see her ankle already taped.
Here we see standing back pike, right to a back tuck. Nice combination. And here we're going to see where she made that mistake. You could see her first foot just barely caught her big toe, and it was not enough to be able to keep her on the beam.
Slammed her knee as well.
Ouch.
Giovannini's score on the beam, 13.350, and that really puts the pressure on Ricardo Costa. Goes for it on the high bar.
And Costa has a very interesting routine, especially an interesting dismount. I hope he'll perform it here today. He actually is one of the few competitors, if not the only, that competes a triple piked back off the high bar. Little hesitation, already a break right there.
And that could be deadly to their chances of moving to the Final Four.
See if he does it. 1, 2, 3.
Oh.
Triple pike and over-rotates it.
How about that? Well, he went for it.
He went for it, and, you know, he made some mistakes throughout the routine. It doesn't look like they're likely to move on. You never know what's going to happen. But at least he gave the audience a show. That was great to see good gymnastics right there with that triple back.
So sure enough, Giovannini and Costa just 83.3 total points. Looks like they'll be heading to the dressing room. But still with a shot, the Czechoslovakian and Spanish pair. Jana Komoskova.
Jana has a great story. She actually declared her retirement after competing in her second Olympics in Athens in 2004, but she just felt the motivation to continue and decided to make a comeback. Has been doing very well.
She changed sports, actually, didn't she?
She tried pole vaulting for a while.
Yeah.
A sport that Amy Chow went on to try here in the United States.
Interesting.
Maybe that'll be my next sport. I'll try that.
Makes some sense. Whoa.
And as with many of these older athletes, she says safety is her first concern.
Moskova, now 23 years of age.
Very nice combination. These beautiful skills. Side aerial right back to a side semi. Finishing with a front tuck full. Now that's going to lose her a little bit in the difficulty area.
Frustrated. This is a frustrating event.
Very frustrating event, especially today, and it's got to be tough to see so many of the other athletes fall before you go up and have that in the back of your mind.
Yeah, that looked like a slip again. Jana Komoskova scores just 13.2 on the beam, and again putting the pressure on her teammate from Spain, Rafael Martinez.
Rafael, one of his country's greatest hopes for the 2004 Olympics, and ended up placing in the top 8 in the all-around, which was his goal. And really, 2008 is supposed to be his year, so we definitely need to watch it out for him in Beijing. Great swing. Nice in-bar work right there. dismount, double out, full out. Strong routine from Martinez. Placed 9th at the World Championships in the men's all-around. And is coming back and giving a great performance on high bar here. You can see he has great hand placement throughout all the pirouetting, the stalder work, finishing off with a little bit piked on his dismount, but a strong landing.
Let's see if his points can offset a disappointing round by Kormaskova. Martinez with 14.65. That puts them in 6th place. Currently not good enough to make the final 4 in the final round. And they seem daunting task now for the French team. Jenny Kohler and Jan Kuchera. Jenny first on the vault.
Yurchenko layout. Not going to have a lot of difficulty points on that vault, and she was a little piked off the horse. So this might be a little bit of a tough score. But she only had 1 step on the landing. And Jenny is very good on uneven bars. Unfortunately, she'll only get the chance to compete on bars if she makes it to the final round.
So again, the pressure goes to Jan Kuchera, and he too on the vault. Just 12.85 for Kohler as they literally raise the vaulting table a bit.
Now the men and women use the same vaulting table, but they have to raise it for the men. Obviously a little bit taller.
Kuchera has performed well.
It's a strong vault right here, and opts for a soup full. Again, not a lot of difficulty, but he performs it very well. His nice tight form in the air, a solid landing, just that minor hop. Good power, good height and distance.
Will it be enough? It looks like the cut line is somewhere around 89.9 or 90 points to round it off in total score. Kohler scored 12.85 on her vault, and Kuchera's score 14.850. So a combined 84. That won't be good enough. 7th place overall. Only the top 4 move on. We'll total them up and show you where we stand and go to the final round right after this.
Give your home the gift of new carpet this holiday season and save 50%. Call him.
We started with 10 teams of competitors, and now we go to the final round. Only the top 4 will move on. The Romanian team of Nistor and Dragilescu, the German team, and the Swiss will move into the final round, to the delight of the Swiss Cup fans here on hand at Zurich. And the German team as well of Hintermann and Andergassen, but Russia's Czechoslovakia, the French team, and the Italians all eliminated from the competition. Welcome back, Shannon Miller, Gymnastics USA. I like this format, and I'm a little bit surprised that the Swiss jumped into the top 4 here for the final round.
Well, you know, it's great to see them, especially in front of a hometown crowd, so the audience loves that. But, you know, they did great gymnastics, and it depends on which events you choose, which ones are a little bit higher scoring and which ones are a little bit lower scoring.
Now, in this final round, the gymnasts are free to select their favorite exercise to try and pile up the points?
That's right. So even though someone's already competed on rings or floor, they can choose that event, and it's a new life. So it doesn't matter what else you've done in this competition. It's now or never. And
maybe their choice will be the vault, which is the topic of Shannon Miller's Essential Gymnastics.
Essential Gymnastics, presented by Mancino, your premier safety padding manufacturer since 1966.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Essential Gymnastics. In today's edition, We're going to take a look at 3 of the most common vault families. In many major competitions like the World Championships or even the Olympic Games, gymnasts competing in the event finals must compete 2 vaults, each from a different family. Today I have with me Julie Cotter and Christina Kosha from Parkett's Gymnastics, who are going to demonstrate these moves. First, Julie's going to demonstrate a Yurchenko. Here she'll do a round off onto the board, then a back handspring onto the vault table before blocking off to complete her layout. Next, we'll look at a front handspring entry. Here, Christina faces forward, jumping onto the board, then does a front handspring onto the vault table before starting her front pike somersault. Vault family is a Sukahara. Here, Julie faces forward while jumping onto the board, then does a half turn or a round off onto the vault table. Next time you're watching a vault competition, try to identify these different families: the Yurchenko, Sukahara, and front handspring. Well, that's it for today's Essential Gymnastics segment. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, let's get back to the competition.
Essential Gymnastics, presented by Mancino, your premier safety padding manufacturer since 1966.
Back to Zurich now. We head into the final round of this competition. We started with 10 teams who are down to the final 4. And a fresh start. Each competitor gets to pick their favorite event, the one they can score best in. And first up is the German team of Marie-Sophie Hindermann and Thomas Andergassen. Miss Hindermann has selected the bars.
This will likely be a good event for her. She has such beautiful lines that the judges like. They're looking for those handstands all the way up on top, those great angles.
This is really interesting, this competitive format here, because we've thrown out now, these final 4 teams, we've thrown out their cumulative scores to this point. And from this point forward, we get a fresh start for these 4 teams. And it's the points that she and her partner put up here that will count towards whether or not they walk away with the top prize money of $10,000 each.
It's a great format because you have to be kind of an all-arounder in order to get to the finals. But once you're in the finals, you have to be kind of a specialist. You have to pick that one event you can score the highest on. And this is a great routine so far. A little check right there. Little form checks here and there. Going up for that dismount. Nice high double layout. It's a beautiful routine. Just a couple of form errors, leg separations, a little bent knees through the low bar before her dismount, but really, other than that, it was a very nice routine.
And look at that. That's an interesting facial expression. Looks like she's having fun.
Looks for that landing.
She is all legs. Marie-Sophie Hindermann with a solid score here to get the final round underway. 14.95 for Miss Hindermann, and turns it over to her partner now, Thomas Andergassen, and he selects the rings.
And again on rings, we're looking for that straight across on these strength moves. Multi-septa planche, bouncing right back to a piked cross. He needs to be a little lower on this inverted cross right there. Shoulders down just a bit more.
Did you ever try that?
Not a chance. Not a chance. Nice double fronts.
Oh!
Double out with a full twist, sticking the landing. And in this final round, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for cleaner teams and step landings.
Bravo Deutschland, bravo Marie-Sophie und Thomas. Dankeschön für die Leistung hier heute. Durch die Zeitlupenwiederholung natürlich umso besser fürs Publikum sichtbar. Martinez, schon verschiedene Finalist bei
Nice double fronts, great swinging skills. And here's his dismount. Perfect lines, perfect form.
Andergassen of Germany and Hinderman. Her score 14.950 on the bars, his 15.6. That is the number to beat as we get underway here in our final round. And trying to beat that number, the favorite hometown Swiss team. Ariane Koslin. Now she's chosen the beam.
And even after all the misses that we've seen today, a balance beam is typically a higher scoring event, higher than, say, the floor exercise. So in this type of event, it's a better one to choose.
I see.
If you can hit, you can be on top. Nice Arabian.
That's the second time we've seen her that little loop under the bar. Interesting.
The first routine was just practice. Now it's the real thing. Very nice full turn. We've seen some trouble with those today, but that was nicely done. Layout, not as solid as the first routine that she did. She's got a couple slight balance errors in there that will be deductions. Great routine. You know, she stayed on the beam, and that's the main thing, especially now that a fall is no longer half a tenth, it's, or half a point. It's now 0.8.
Well, for scoring by the applause-o-meter, Ariella's got it.
And this is a great view for her mount. She had some trouble on the first routine during the qualification round. Standing Arabian, incredibly difficult skill. You're turning and flipping and landing forwards.
Now, interestingly, Shannon, her score is pretty good. They awarded her a 15.1, which is higher than her last beam routine. So maybe the applause does have some impact.
Maybe it does. You know, that's a great score for beam. She had no major breaks, but this is the vault to watch.
Nikki Boschenstein.
Another double front, and just a little short, and they are going to take a deduction for that fall because he did hit his rear on the landing. You can see right there. And that's unfortunate. It's such a great vault, the first one that he did in the earlier qualification round, sticking that landing. Now, the gymnasts are all going to compete 2 vaults in this final round, just as they would in any other international competition. Second vault, soup double full. Good position in the air. And only that step, but 2 extremely difficult vaults.
He's been a real dynamic performer and a crowd favorite. So there are their combined scores. And that puts the Swiss team into first place with 2 teams still to compete and still to come from the Swiss Cup in Zurich, Switzerland. We'll be back with the exciting conclusion right after this.
Give your home the gift of new carpet this holiday season and save 50%. Call Empire today.
Two teams to come from Zurich, Switzerland, where they're doing the wave. You don't see that very often at gymnastic competitions. And their Swiss team currently leads it with two teams still to perform. And first, Oksana Chushevitna, the 31-year-old who has just been the delight of this meet. And she will start off on the vault.
And this is her best event. And she's interestingly, one of the only top vaulters in the world that does not compete a Yurchenko. She'll do a front entry, and then she'll do a souk. Here she goes, front layout full. Wow. Stuck the landing. And to me, that looked better than the one she did in the first round. She is just so powerful, gets a great block off the horse, really drives those heels. There's a little pike to start, but she uses that to get her all the way around.
And as you said, in international competition, 2 runs.
Doing a souk 1.5. She loves those blind landings, small hop, but wow, it doesn't get much better. Just perfect form in the air. Legs tight and strong together, nice and straight. You can see she stays right in line with the horse. She's not off to one side or the other.
She and her teammate Jordan Jovchev, trying to combine and beat the Swiss score of 30.65. And Chushevitna's score on the vault is an excellent one. Your eye was correct, 15.15. So it's over to Jordan Jovchev now on the rings to try and take the lead.
Jordan is known as the ring man. This is incredible.
Oh, that's so parallel. It's amazing.
He basically just gives a clinic on how exactly rings should be performed.
Look at the ropes of muscle through the shoulders.
Great double fronts right to a perfect iron cross. The exact position.
And how steady the rings stay in his grasp. What a routine.
Amazing. That was a gorgeous routine, stuck landing. And this is why many people believe that he really should have won the Olympics in 2004. He does this in competition after competition after competition. Full twisting, double layout, and nails that landing.
What a great team of veteran competitors here. Jovchev's score has to be high. Remember, trying to beat the Swiss score, and that will launch them a full point into the lead. Chushevitna and Jovchev with a total of 31.6, and that will be very tough to beat. And the Romanians with one chance here. Steliana Nistor first up, and she will try it on the beam.
Well, you said it. That is a tough act to follow. Gorgeous handspring tucked full. One arm back handspring layout step out. So aggressive throughout this routine. Tucked front semi step out. We're starting to see a lot more of that skill. Important to get those leaps and jumps in. And that's where she had the mistake before. She made sure she was not going to miss that foot on that switch leap again. Handspring, double pike. That was a great routine.
That was rock solid.
It was a beautiful routine, packed with difficulty. Look at that full twist. Just nails it. So aggressive throughout. But it is definitely going to be a tight race. There's just so much more room to take deductions on a minute and 30 beam routine.
Well, she and her partner need to average 15.8 each in order to tie the leaders right now.
And that's extremely difficult, but her teammate, Marianne Dragulescu, has a huge vault coming up. He's the world vault champion, so he can score above a 16 on this event.
Which he already has earlier in the competition. So if he can equal that, he and Nistor have a decent chance, perhaps, of grabbing the top prize. It all comes down to this.
Double front half out. That was a bigger vault than the first round. Still taking that big step, but this vault has so much difficulty that he can take a step and still get a big score. I am just amazed at the height that he gets.
The explosion.
Just straight up into the air.
But the slow-mo really does justice to the vault. And one last try now.
And that looked like a slight error. Looked like he missed his block. He did a round off half turn onto the horse, half off. And you can see where he bent his legs. And that's usually a signal that you either lost where you were in the air or you just missed your block and kind of pulled out of the skill.
Now remember, both he and Nistor need to average, all things equal, 15.8 in order to catch the leaders.
And he had a huge first vault.
Let's see what the judges thought. Nistor, 15.85. That's better than, but Dragulescu just 15.15, Shannon. And that's a combined 31 points. That's not good enough. We will add it up and give you the official tallies, and you'll see the winners when we come back after this.
Give your home the...
Welcome back. The final standings of the Swiss Cup 2006. It is a day for the veterans. Oksana Chushynitsina and Jordan Chovchev finish on top with a combined score of 31.60 over the Romanian team, so tough, of Nistor and Dragulescu. The hometown Swiss team finishes in third, ahead of the German team of Hinderman and Ondergassen. Lutilli, along with Shannon Miller. I really enjoyed this format from the standpoint of the success of the sport to the fan. I thought this was a good way for the fan to follow the real competition as it develops.
Yeah, I think it's a really great format. I think it introduces all of the fans to both men's and women's gymnastics, but it's a team feel, it's a country feel, you're pulling for people, so it's an exciting format. I really like it.
And also, as you said earlier in the broadcast, a good example here to some of the young women in America and all across the world that you can still stay with this sport for a long time and be good at it.
It's so great, and it's so great to see Oksana out there competing at such a high level, world class at 31 years old, but also to see the younger girls in there, and when they're competing, and maybe they're making a mistake here or there, but they watch her and they learn that it's okay, you can keep going. You're going to make mistakes in your career, but you can keep going as long as you want.
Great stuff. Shannon Miller, Gymnastics USA, taking you to Zurich for some of the great international stars of the sport. Now for Shannon, I'm Lutilli. Thanks for joining us. We hope to see you right here again.
CN8's One-on-One with